Hi, I'm Carl Azus, and guess what? Fridays are awesome! We've got a fascinating show set up for you today. It takes a look back at a series of events that happened in Southeastern Asia this summer and became one of the greatest rescue stories of the 21st century. It involves 12 young soccer players, their coach, and a group of international heroes who risked their own lives to save those of the others. On Thursday, in the capital of Thailand, the nation's prime minister welcomed the team. And for the first time since they were brought to safety by a group of cave experts and divers, the team and the rescuers met face to face. One of the men who volunteered to help said he tapped a diver on the shoulder and said, "They're there because of you." So how did all of this come together? The basic facts are that the boys and their coach decided to explore a cave. They got trapped by rising floodwaters and they had no way out. They were found alive more than a week later, but they were hundreds of meters below the surface. There were large amounts of water between them and safety, and the boys didn't know how to swim. To make matters worse, more rain was in the forecast, and no one knew how high the caves would flood. But it's when you hear the details of where they got trapped, what was done to locate and help them, and how they were eventually brought back home that gives you a sense of how daring and skilled the rescue effort had to be.
Has there ever been a cave rescue quite like this one? The Thai military, allied with an international team of volunteers, searching until the lost boys were found and daringly rescued in remote mountains in northern Thailand. So much of the drama happened in the dark, out of sight. But it begins with a haunting image in silhouette. Kids' bikes chained up in a row at the cave entrance. Football boots, shin pads, left behind with no sign of their owners. The date, Saturday, June 23rd. And this was the missing party, what we can now refer to as the miraculously lucky 13, the Wild Boars football team plus their young coach. They went missing after match practice. They'd explored this particular cave before, but were apparently trapped by a sudden monsoon flood. Water and more water. In came the piping and the pumps and Thai Navy SEALs. As the water continued to rise, the equipment for a serious diving operation was transferred by hand and by hoist deep into the cave. Where were the boys? Could they be reached in time? The place is known as the Big Cave for a reason. Almost 7 miles of limestone tunnels and recesses, nooks and crannies. Anxious, distressed relatives could only wait and offer prayers. The cave, known as Tham Luang, was mapped by French divers in the 1980s. It's among the longest in Thailand. But it's the first few miles of the cave that concern us here. The most recent survey was carried out by this man, Vern Unsworth, a British caver who has a home in the area. His immediate advice was call in British experts.
We got the Thai authorities to understand that, you know, they needed expert divers out here. You know, because cave diving it's specialist, nil-vis. You know, it's like diving with, you can't see 3 inches in front of your face, and they needed world-class divers, and that's what we got.
Rick Stanton on the left, a retired fireman from Coventry, and his diving partner John Volanthan, an IT consultant from Bristol. In cave diving, they're pretty much as good as it gets. At the request of the Thai Command Centre, they were flown out from Britain. On the ground they almost passed unnoticed, just 2 guys in dark shorts, t-shirts and Wellington boots. The British divers made their first exploratory dive on Wednesday, June 27th, 4 days after the boys went missing. The challenge was immediately obvious. Water the colour of cold coffee, almost no visibility, swimming against a torrent of water, the engorged stream that runs through the cave. The divers were able to lay down a crucial guide rope, and on the 7th day of diving, on Monday, July the 2nd, they found the boys perched on a rocky ledge and were met by an unforgettable chorus of little voices.
Thank you.
How many of you? 13?
Yes.
Brilliant. What day is it, the boys ask.
Monday. Monday. You have been here 10 days. 10 days. You are very strong.
Navy SEAL will come tomorrow with food and doctor and everything.
I am really happy.
We are happy too.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay.
So where you come from?
England, UK.
Oh, indeed, a nice surprise. England home to Manchester United and Arsenal, some of their favourite teams. The euphoria among relatives outside was immediate. The British team, some 8 British divers in all, were warmly embraced, hugs all around. They'd brought hope out of the darkness. The boys were joined on their ledge by Navy SEALs, given food and emergency foil blankets and medicine. They sent messages to their parents, wrote letters that were carried out. Their coach had helped keep their spirits up during their ordeal in their tiny refuge, less than half the size of a tennis court. Coach Ake, as they call him, was sat at the back. He'd been a Buddhist monk in his youth and taught them to meditate to pass the time. On Friday, July the 6th, tragedy struck. One of the Thai divers, Saman Kunan, lost consciousness as he was replacing oxygen tanks and died. He was 38, a retired Thai Navy SEAL. He had volunteered to join the rescue effort just 5 days earlier. His death changed the mood in the cave. Now there was a growing urgency about a rescue. We know it happened over 3 successive days, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, July 8th, 9th and 10th. Thai Navy SEALs have released footage of it. The boys carried out on so-called sked military stretches. But the most dramatic and daring part of the rescue happened off-camera in the submerged part of the cave system.
The most important thing was to have a full face mask, which we acquired on site with positive pressure to enable them to breathe and to relax them enough to not feel any anxiety during the process.
It seems then that the boys were somehow escorted out one by pairs of divers before being put into stretchers.
Myself and Jason Mallinson came out after Rick and John, and our role was to help transport the boys underwater through the cave to bring them out.
And not forgetting the anonymous quartet of Thai Navy SEALs who'd kept the boys company on the ledge for 7 days. They were the last out after the boys.
Just to get any of them out alive would have been a miracle, but to get 13 out of 13 won't happen again. It's the biggest miracle ever.
Or at least it's one of them. The Chilean mine rescue of 2010, the passenger jet that safely landed on the Hudson River in 2009. Love to cover stories like these. Our daily current events coverage picks back up on Monday. We hope to see you then.